Dinero added a new film. Is that how you say his name? Is that how you say his name? Dinero added a new video, and I've been waiting for this. Yeah. I like his content. Isekai from the West, and I gotta say, I love myself isekai. Like, there are so many books I go through that just reference like being isekai. Like, one of my favorite book series was Marco the Fool, and it all takes place in a world completely different from our own. However, one character, which is just a piece of history in that story, had been isekai'd to that world, and I thought that was completely amazing. I enjoyed that. But then again, yeah, this is Dinero, isekai from the West. I think you say his name as Dinero, but that's just how I pronounce it.
I'm back with the milk again. Isekai. I like isekai. Crazy statement, I know, but stay with me now. When it comes to genres in fiction, the two big ones are science fiction and fantasy, right? Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of sci-fi fans out there.
Yeah, so again, like the first isekai genre that really got me into it, Pokemon. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but there was an episode in Pokemon, like in the original few episodes, where Polygon, Ash Ketchum, Pikachu, they were all teleported into basically a Tron-like world, into the AI database, where Polygon was the Pokemon in the computer. Polygon was a Pokemon in the computer. And I was like, I freaking enjoy this. And of course, I had seen Tron, but Tron didn't really connect with me as to what it was, especially when I was a kid. I didn't understand it. But when I saw it in like Pokemon, I was like, I get it. And that's like the first isekai I saw, where they're transported into the digital realm. Of course, it's the digital realm there. But it was an isekai. It was definitely an isekai.
And a lot of fantasy ones. I'm more of a fantasy guy myself. I love it. Yep. I do like sci-fi, especially the wackier stuff, but I like fantasy more. It has a special place in my heart. It's like, this is brilliant, but I like this. My understanding of these, or the way I look at these two, is sci-fi usually takes place in our own world, with the same rules and logic as a foundation. It explores what-if scenarios and theoretical stuff based on science, no matter how...
Unless it's Star Wars. Like, that's the only thing where it's not an isekai, but it's like futuristic fantasy. That's like the epitome of futuristic fantasy is Star Wars. Like, nothing has been able to encapsulate that in any other way. Because everything else, when it does fantasy, it can't do a space fantasy. It has to do just a regular fantasy.
Crazy and unrealistic things get, there needs to be a logical explanation behind them. It needs to make at least a little bit of sense scientifically. That's why pretty often, sci-fi becomes reality. Fantasy, on the other hand, it usually takes place in a made-up world with its own separate rules and logic. It's all supernatural and magical. Unlike sci-fi, fantasy breaks reality. It's not bound by it. Our own rules and logic don't apply to these. You come up with your own logic that makes all of these magical things believable. And I love that about fantasy, man. It's pure imagination. And another big reason why
See, that's one of the biggest issues I have, especially with, like, I love writing, and my main genre is fantasy. I have a massive issue with the scapegoat of, oh, it's magic. It happens because of magic. I absolutely hate that. The funny thing is, a lot of the books I enjoy have that, because it's just so much easier to do that, because for me, it's such a pain, such a struggle. And then there are them, like, and Marco the Fool kind of does an interesting way of explaining its magic system without over-explaining it. It's just simplistic and to the point, because in Isekai, it's probably leveling, like what is it? Solo leveling, where you kill something, you gain levels, you can see your stat sheet, you can level up your stat sheet. I'm not a big fan of that. Even though a lot of the books I read have that in it. But every time that chapter pops up that has like, oh, the stat sheet increases, I just skip that chapter, because it's pointless. It adds nothing to the actual overarching story. I'm there for the story. That's just there as an excuse to show that, see, the character is progressing. Like, no, I don't care about that. Just give me a dungeon crawl. Just give me an objective. Follow the objective. Maybe a disaster gets in the way, and then he still needs to complete it anyway.
Fantasy is the aesthetic. I mean, this whole futuristic, cyberpunk, techno aesthetic is cool and all, but this is fucking magic. Now, isekai, a subgenre of fantasy in Japanese media, it takes a normal human from our world and drops them into these fantasy worlds by either teleporting them or reincarnating them. And then we get to see these fantasy worlds from their perspective. We
Truck-kun!
learn about these worlds at the same pace as them. We see them slowly adapting to that world.
Like I'm going through what is it? Bog standard isekai. I'm going through a soldier's life. I'm going through like these are all genres. I really enjoy them. I like it. A soldier's life, and the creator who's doing a soldier's life is also doing like the Academy. No, the World Sphere. The World Sphere. I enjoy them. They're always someone that's teleported off to the... And there are 3 different versions. There is the summoning. There is the death by truck-kun. And then there is the reincarnated. Those are the 3. Like the death by truck-kun is it's kind of insane. What? There are 3. I remember writing them down because I always found it fascinating. It's like, which one are we going to come across this time? But yeah, that's always been the case.
Or changing it using their knowledge. And I think it's a neat concept. I think it has a ton of potential to tell fun and interesting stories. But sadly, most isekai don't really use that premise to its full potential.
Nope.
It's an oversaturated genre, has a reputation for pumping out absolute dog shit. If you go and tell someone that you unironically like isekai, they'd probably think you're some kind of freak. I like isekai.
Yeah, because the problem is this genre is filled with so much smut. Like it literally is. It's filled with so much smut that trying to find the good ones is difficult. Luckily, I've gotten good at being able to locate the good ones. I'll read the synopsis of it, and then normally, like if it's got a little bit of explicit content in it, it warns you. But yeah, like that's why the soldier's life. I did start reading. What was it? The I'm Not the Hero, but I got like 2-3 books in, and I'm like, I'll probably continue it at some point, but right now I don't care. And they have like, what, 7 books out now? Yeah, like Mark of the Fool I absolutely loved. Even though it's not entirely an isekai, but it's kind of in that genre because there's one character who's spoken about throughout the entire series that was isekai'd. So I find it fascinating. But at the same time, it's just like, it's so much smut. So much smut. But I find the ones that are good because occasionally it's just like, I just don't care. Because you'll come across one and it's just like, it looks cool. You start it, seems cool, and then it's just like, I'm not going to bother. Oh yeah, what's the other one? I have, well, that's not really isekai, but I enjoy that one. Still, I enjoy that one. But it's basically like a better version of reincarnated as a slime, which is just smut in the end. It's just like, well, why not just actually live the life of a slime? Which Syl does follow, which is I found more fascinating.
Usually what you get is either generic power fantasy with some edgy harem shit, or something ridiculous, something totally absurd, with a clickbaity title that explains the whole plot. We have such classics as In Another World with My Smartphone, riveting stuff, Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill, and what's...
Yep. It just gets very, very droll.
That skill? Online grocery shopping. I'm not making that up. And we got reincarnated as a sword. Reborn as a vending machine. I know Wander Dungeon.
Yeah, I know the exact ones he's talking about because I was like, I saw them pop up in my feed because I absolutely love isekai, and I'm like, nope. Reincarnated as a spider is another one. I was reincarnated as a spider.
Like, what kind of substance do you even have to smoke to get ideas like these? Reborn as a vending machine?
What the fuck is that?
There are some good isekai out there, but you can count them on your fingers and still have some fingers left. It's mostly just garbage. Slop, if you will. That's why, let me introduce you to... Portal Fantasy. Now, what's that, Mr. De Niro? Well, it's basically isekai, but in English. Even though these kinds of stories got popular because of Japanese isekai, light novels, anime, and manga, stories with that same concept existed in the West for centuries, way before isekai was even a thing, way before anime was even a thing. So today, we're gonna be checking out some movies, adaptations of classic Western literature and novels, and even some video game adaptations that have this isekai premise. Let's see if they're any better than your typical Japanese isekai slop. This intro is already pretty long, so without wasting any time, let's just jump into it.
In Wonderland. Spoilers for basically every single movie that's gonna be mentioned. What movies are gonna be mentioned? Let me see. It's probably Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland, the Chronicles of Narnia, Jumanji, Super Mario Bros. It must be the movie from like 1989, a Minecraft movie. Piece of crap. I love these games, dog. What? I never heard of that one. Takeaway. I don't think I recall that one. Thanks for... Oh, that says goodbye. Oh, no. I love these games, dog. He's just explaining. Okay. So I have seen all the ones he's mentioning. A Minecraft movie is where he ends it. But he should have gotten into the books. He really should have gotten into the books. There's some good books.
Starting with an all-time classic, and what is probably one of the earliest world fantasy isekai movies, The Wizard of Oz. A musical adaptation of the classic novel from 1900, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. This one needs no introduction, everyone loves it. It's considered one of the greatest movies ever made. I know all about this movie's infamous production, all the behind-the-scenes horror stories.
The witch burning, like literally it was the getting trapped on the set. Like there are so many things that just went wrong.
But I never watched the movie itself, because it's like what, an ancient old-ass musical from 1939? And you guys know how I feel about musicals, not the biggest fan. But I had to watch it for the video, so I went into it with an open mind, and I'm not gonna lie, it surprised me. I kinda enjoyed it for what it is. For all the people who don't know anything about The Wizard of Oz, it's a story about this girl, Dorothy. She and her dog get sucked into a tornado and end up in this fantasy world called the Land of Oz. But unlike your typical isekai protagonist, she misses her family and wants to go back home. So she goes on this quest to meet the titular character, the Wizard of Oz, who could send her back home, allegedly. And on her way there, she meets all sorts of crazy...
The spoiler is... It's all a dream. The whole thing's a dream. The whole thing is just in her head. In the twister, she hit her head because the building shook and she fell over.
Characters, makes friends, adventure shenanigans. It's a simple, silly little children's story with some themes like the power of friendship, family, home and whatnot. Nothing too complex, but it's got a lot of charm.
Oh, I think they actually used like iron filings. So he was literally painting like iron on his face. He had like, it made him incredibly sick. Incredibly sick. I think he was like almost on his deathbed for playing this character.
Now, the elephant in the room, the musical stuff. They weren't as bad as I thought they'd be. They never felt out of place, like they're interrupting the movie or anything like that.
Yeah, because it's part of the story.
It's got some nice tunes. For the most part. Definitely one of the better musicals I've seen in a long time. And my favorite part of the movie has to be all the little special effects that they managed to do and the way they filmed it. Like take the tornado scene in the beginning. It looks so impressive considering the fact that this is from 1939. And this movie does a cool thing where all the scenes in Kansas before she ends up in Oz are filmed in black and white, and Oz is filmed in Technicolor. So when Dorothy initially lands in Oz, you get this magical scene where she opens the door and the movie suddenly transitions to full color. Cinema. That scene made me feel like 2016 Logan Paul, man. Movies like these are not my cup of tea, but after finally watching it, I gotta say, it's a nice movie. I wouldn't say I loved it, but I respect it. Fun fact, there are 2 Wizard of Oz anime adaptations that came out in the 80s, which makes it not only one of the first isekai movies, but also one of the first isekai anime as well. And there are multiple other Wizard of Oz and Wizard of Oz related projects that came out after that, most famously Disney's attempt at a sequel and a prequel. 1985's Return to Oz is a sequel, but it's made by a different studio with a different cast and a different everything, basically. The original is a cute, silly musical, right? But this one is completely different. It's not a musical, it's like a borderline horror movie.
A Wicked was written by it was written for a play originally.
The dark fantasy aesthetic.
Where evil people aren't evil.
Apparently, this is much more accurate to the source material. I don't really have a lot to say about this one, but I do have something to say about this one. Oz, the Great and Powerful. A 2013 prequel that explores the backstory of the man himself, the Wizard of Oz. Played by Harry Osborn and directed by the man who made Spider-Man movies. I don't think a lot of people remember this one, and the people who do remember, they fucking hate it. But I have a bit of a hot take here. I don't think it's that bad. It's a decent movie.
The thing is when you try to do something like this, you're always gonna anger the long-standing no matter what, you're always gonna lose. You're always gonna lose. Like they're coming out with a Mummy 4. It's not gonna do as great. I mean, people are gonna go watch it because the cast is coming back, but I don't think it's gonna do as good because again, it's a little too late. It's a little too late. And again, none of the original cast is in it, and it's primarily focusing on CGI. in this one than the original all had practical effect. Well, practical, and then their special effects was just camera work.
I kind of like it actually, but I do get the criticism though. Visually, it looks kind of ass, and the casting choices were, let's just say, interesting. But other than that, I think it's a fun movie. Like, this guy is a con man, a carnival magician. He gets teleported to Oz and people there mistake him for some kind of prophesized savior, a wizard. And he just plays along with it for the treasure, riches and shit. He doesn't have any magical powers, right? So he's just Reagan Artakas his way through everything, which is hilarious. But towards the end, he has a change of heart, becomes a better man, and uses his trickery to defeat the big bad. Like, come on, doesn't that sound like a fun movie to you? It's not as bad as people say it is. Way better than whatever Disney's making now. But yeah, that's the last Wizard of Oz movie. I know there's Wicked, the Wizard of Ozempic, but I'm good, man.
It's an overrated play about fucking if the Wicked Witch of fucking Oz was like really the good one and all kind of dumb shit that people with low self-esteem tried to change the Wizard of Oz.
Yep.
That ugly bitch was...
Where the Wicked Witch is actually the hero of the story. She was misrepresented. She's innocent. It was the kind man, the wizard, which was the evil tyrant, because he's a man.
evil. And don't you forget it.
Alice in Wonderland.
Everyone and their grandma knows Alice in Wonderland. I don't think I have to explain much. And it's an isekai if you think about it. Girl sees a talking rabbit, gets really curious, goes down a rabbit hole following it, and ends up in this Wonderland. I always thought Wizard of Oz was older, but the Alice book is from 1865. Now remember 3 minutes ago when I said I'm not the biggest fan of musicals? That was a fucking lie. I like musicals, if they're 2D animated and made by Disney before the 2000s. Music and animation goes
before the 2000s. I mean, you got to be specific. You got to be specific. Like the 3D, like I think there aren't many. I enjoy Tangled. I enjoy Coco. I can't think of really any. I didn't care for Soul as much. However, I know someone who's a musician who absolutely related with that film. Not me. But yeah, for me, I related to Coco because, well, you see that the abuela literally looked like my abuela. Like, no matter what, after you get a certain point of a certain age, it's like every Mexican grandma looks exactly the same. They look exactly the same. And I thought that was so endearing because it literally looked like my abuela was there. It's a generic look. You've seen one, you've seen them all.
So well together, and they perfectly blend the songs with the story in these movies. They never feel boring. I like most of these musicals, except this one. I don't know, man, I just never really understood it. Like, all the other ones have a proper story that you can follow, but this one barely has a story or a plot. It's
the Jungle Book doesn't really have a story. It's like, well, however many stories were all pasted into one. I did not care for the Jungle Book because it's just a hodgepodge of stories put together. I don't like that. I don't like that. There should have been a narrative throughout. There wasn't. It was like a whole bunch of short stories. It was like a comic book strip of, what is it? Dennis the Menace from back in the day. Like, it was just one panel. And then the next week, you'll get a whole new story on one panel. That's what the Jungle Book animation felt like. Just a bunch of random stories.
It's all just random encounters with these weird-ass characters. And the Wonderland, that world itself is basically a trippy fever dream where nothing makes sense. Like, is that the appeal? That it literally feels like an incoherent dream? The last time I remember watching this, I was a little shit with no critical thinking. Surely, if I give it a try now, I can understand it, right? I still didn't get it. I mean, I think I got some things here and there, but it felt like I was missing the bigger picture. I didn't get the point. So I went on the good old internet to learn, try to understand what it's all about. I watched some YouTube videos, came across some Reddit threads and whatnot, and they're all saying that it's about the absurdity of life, the inevitability of death, and that it's an allegory for losing the innocence of childhood, a symbolism for puberty. Did I even watch the same movie? What is these guys?
It's like, it's such a... It's like, wait a minute. I think people are putting too much philosophical understanding into something.
Talking about. Shit just made me more confused. And then I learned a little bit about the author, Lewis Carroll, and things started making sense. Turns out, there is no point to Alice in Wonderland. It's kind of a parody of children's stories of that time, which always try to preach a moral or some kind of lesson to kids. It's intentionally pointless and nonsensical with no deeper meaning. And most importantly, this is just a silly story that he came up with to entertain a little girl called Alice. So moral of the story is, it ain't that deep. And just like The Wizard of Oz, there's an Alice in Wonderland anime that came out in 1983. The Japanese people must really love Alice, man. You can see its influence in lots of anime and video games. And of course, Snake Ass Disney made a live-action remake back in 2010 with Tim Burton. Some people seem to really like it, but most people hate it. And I'm in the same boat here. I don't like
Nah.
it. If the original is a fever dream, this is a fever.
The only thing that came out of it was the clock meme. That's it. That's it. That's the only thing that came out of it. I think that's the best part about it, the clock
dream
meme.
with RTX on. It looks terrifying in the CGI live action. Also, this is the movie that kicked off this whole live action remake trend. But to be fair, as far as those remakes,
I think it was Cinderella that kicked off the whole live action remake trend. I could be wrong though. I never saw Cinderella live action.
well, this is one of the better ones, because it's not a one-to-one retelling of the same story. It tries to do something different. As you can see, Alice is a grown-up in this one. It tries to make sense of that nonsensical world, and weaves in a generic hero's journey fantasy adventure with some half-baked messages about being independent, making your own choices and shit, which is hilarious because all of her decisions and her journey ultimately ends with her becoming a merchant sea explorer who opens her trade route to China from England. And you know what that means. In this universe, Alice was canonically smuggling opium into China, and probably had a hand in the opium wars. She's a girl-boss colonizer. What was he cooking, man?
Narnia. If you want to watch Narnia, you have to watch like the 1990. No, it was 1980s. The 1980s. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. The Prince Caspian and crap. What was the other one? Shoot, I forgot. Because they always only make the 3. They don't make the Magician's Nephew, which is the original first book. It's the Magician. I have the book right over here somewhere. Oh, forget it. It's up there. It's up there. Yeah, it's the Magician's Nephew, which is first, and then it's like the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Then it's like, yeah, there are 7 books in total, and they only ever do 3 of them. They only ever do 3 of them, which is kind of annoying. It really is annoying. Because you don't get the entire story.
Now, this is one of the big 3 of 2000's fantasy film series.
Again, the first Harry Potter film I absolutely loved. Second one, even though a lot of people don't like it, I enjoyed it because it was like pretty on par with the books. Lord of the Rings, good retelling of the original story. Narnia, the first time I watched it was with my wife like 2 years ago. Because for me, I prefer the original, the old one, the classic one.
But out of those 3, this one's kind of forgotten. People rarely ever talk about it. And I think this is the definitive Western isekai. Sure, The Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland are both classics, very influential, but they're silly children's stories more than anything. Chronicles of Narnia, even though it is written for children, feels like a proper fantasy adventure with some real stakes. Without spoiling too much, the story revolves around these 4 siblings. They find a wardrobe that takes them to a different world called, you guessed it, Narnia. And it's cursed and ruled by this lady called Jadis, the White Witch. She's kind of like your isekai demon.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be as Lana next when they remake it. Yeah, but it was the Magician's. I don't think it can even be read. The Magician's Nephew, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the Horse and this boy. Oh yeah, the Horse and his boy, Prince Caspian, the Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Yeah, they always do the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, the Voyage of the Dawn Treader, the Silver Chair, and the Last Bottle. I think they lump Prince Caspian and the Voyage of the Dawn Treader in one, and then the Silver Chair. But I've never seen the Magician's Nephew told. I just don't know why.
Lord. A lot of stuff happens there, and now they have to defeat her to free that place with the help of God. I oversimplified it a bit too much. It might sound pretty standard, but it's just good, classic fantasy, alright? Even if you didn't find the story that interesting, there's a lot to love here, at least in the first 2 movies. These were made when fantasy movies were at their peak, so you
Still have not seen the Prince Caspian one.
get just the right amount of CGI mixed with makeup and all the practical things. And the CGI still looks amazing, by the way. Just visually, these movies are breathtaking, man. They were filmed mostly in real-life locations, went with the Lord of the Rings approach.
Yeah,
and
stream
speaking
crashed
of which,
again.
the battle sequences are up there
As
right
per
next
usual.
to Lord of the Rings. And the music too. And the casting is just perfect, especially the White Witch and Aslan the Lion.
Do not cite the deep magic to me, witch. I was there when it was written.
I know, I'm absolutely glazing it. I remember loving these movies as a kid, but I hadn't seen them in ages. I was surprised how well they still hold up. There's more to Chronicles of
You gotta watch the original. You gotta watch the really old classic ones. Like, crap. What was Turkish Delight? Turkish Delight. He sold out his family for Turkish Delight.
Narnia than what you see on screen. It's very religious. There are many biblical themes, allegories, and symbolism throughout it.
Mhm.
Aslan here is what you might call a Christ figure. In the first movie, he sacrifices himself to save a betrayer. He submits himself, gets mocked, tortured, and killed, but he rises from the dead the next morning. Sound familiar? And the stone table that he dies on kind of becomes Narnia's version of the cross of Jesus Christ, a symbol for his sacrifice. There are many things.
Yeah, well, he's C.S. Lewis was J.R.R. Tolkien was a heavy religious Catholic. And C.S. Lewis, I think, was more of a Protestant, but still kind of a Catholic. So, of course, through their tales, like, again, in Lord of the Rings, there also is similarities between, like, Christianity and, like, the characters in it. However, he wanted to make it more of a mythology than an actual religious text, like in C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Because in the Chronicles of Narnia, it's really a complete allegory with Christianity. It's more so hidden in the Lord of the Rings, because he was just trying. He felt like Britain was lost on their mythology. Like, they were deprived of mythology because they just didn't have one. You know, being white.
Like that. And by the end of the third movie, you realize he's not just some Christ figure, an allegory, or anything like that, but he is Christ, because he says,
I shall be watching you always. In your world, I have another name. You must learn to know me by it.
basically, Narnia is a parallel world where Christ took the form of a lion, since it's evolved with talking animals, and Jesus is also called a lion, so makes a lot of sense. But of course, you don't need to know any of this or be Christian to enjoy it. These are proper fantasy stories. Remember I said I loved watching these as a kid? I never got any of this, and I was raised Roman Catholic, so I don't think it's that on the nose either. The author of the books, C.S. Lewis, was actually an atheist, but after having some back and forth discussions and debates with a close Catholic friend of his that you might know, J.R.R. Tolkien, he eventually changed his mind and became a Christian. Did a complete 180. He wrote a lot of Christian apologetics, theological books, and fictional stories that explore Christian themes. Even Lord of the Rings is very religious. It's all rooted in Catholicism.
What did I say? C.S. Lewis was heavy Christian, and it's always the ones that convert that are like more so into it. And J.R.R. Tolkien was just born Catholic, heavy Catholic, very Catholic. But even though Lord of the Rings, you can watch it with not knowing anything and not be able to make all the connections, because it's primarily there as like a mythical tale.
But let's not get into that now. I love things with religious symbolism and imagery. I think they're pretty metal. And oh yeah, they're rebooting Chronicles of Narnia, and it's gonna be made by the devil, Netflix. I've been seeing a lot of red flags already. I'm tired, boss. I'm tired of seeing beloved fantasy epics getting butchered by these
I'm tired, boss. Green Mile, great movie.
streaming services. Please make it stop. Well, those are all your typical fantasy settings. Now we're getting to the wacky stuff, starting with Jumanji, a 90s Robin Williams classic. It's about this board game that gives these riddle-like messages whenever you roll, and whatever is written there happens in real life. In that movie, Robin Williams' character, Alan, he finds this board game when he was a kid and plays it with a girl. The message that he gets tells him he has to wait in this place called the jungle until someone rolls a 5 or an 8, and he gets sucked into the game. The girl that he was playing with sees all that shit, freaks out, and runs away, abandoning the game. So he gets stuck in there for like 26 years, until a new family moves into that house, and these two kids find the board. Now, the jungle here is the isekai part, but we don't get to see it. We only hear him describe it. And that's where the 2017 sequel / soft reboot comes in, starring
I didn't care for the Jumanji remake. Robin Williams will always be like, I like that they kind of had a nudge to his base camp and his base of operation, but at the same time, it's like, you can't have Jumanji without Robin Williams.
everybody's favorite, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. In the original, they beat the game and throw the board into a river, so nobody else plays it again, and everyone lives happily ever after. But the movie ends with Jumanji board shown on a beach somewhere. This one picks things up right from there. A man finds it lying there, takes it home, and gives it to his son. But it's 1996. Board games are not cool anymore. We got video games, so he just ignores it. But later that night, it transforms into a game cartridge for what appears to be a bootleg Atari or something. Which is interesting. This movie's made by Sony. Shouldn't it be a PS1 disc? But whatever. He pops it in and gets sucked into the game. Classic. And we fast forward to 2017. These 4 kids in detention find the same console. They try to play it to pass some time, and they get sucked into. And we finally get to see the jungle this time. The board game transformed into a video game, right? So this world is like a video game now. It's one of those isekai. But the game is very basic though. You don't have your EXP, your skill trees, and all the usual RPG elements. They have basic strengths and weaknesses, and 3 lives. And if they die in the game, they die in real life. So of course they want to get the fuck out of there. And to do that, they gotta beat the game by working together, putting aside their differences, you know, power of friendship type shit. It's like a 7 out of 10 action comedy. Nothing crazy, but it's entertaining enough. Some of the scenes actually made me laugh. The funniest part about the movie is the characters and who they turn into in the game. This stereotypical awkward nerdy gamer guy turns into Rock, and this big athletic popular guy turns into Kevin Hart, and this insecure girl turns into this lady. I forgot her name, man. And finally, funniest of them all, this narcissistic, annoying ass popular girl turns into Jack Black.
Oh, this is so much easier!
It's cool, right?
Yeah, because you have like a handle. The fact that I'm not Instagramming this right now is insane.
But this thing also has a sequel. It's about the same as the first one. It's called Next Level, but it's on the same level.
Yeah, aren't they making a third one too? I think they're making a third one.
Wouldn't even be worth mentioning if it weren't for Danny freaking DeVito. I love this man. He plays the grandpa of the gamer dude, and he turns into Rock this time around. So the Rock tries his best to do a Danny DeVito impression for a majority of the film. It's funny as hell.
Oh, my joints feel like butter.
And you might be wondering, what happened to the gamer dude then? He turns into Aquafina. That's it for Jumanji. I don't have a lot to say. I basically just did a plot recap there, but I had to bring it up, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, speaking of video games, it's time to talk about... Finally, my area of expertise. We've been getting a lot of video game adaptations lately. Looks like it's Hollywood's next big thing after superhero movies. And I noticed that some of them have this isekai gimmick going on. Actually, the first ever video game adaptation is an isekai. It's Super Mario. Not that one, this one.
This is one of the best adaptations ever. It is so stupid, but it literally leaned into it completely, which is why it's so good.
The infamous 1993 Super Mario Bros. Movie.
1993.
You guys know about Nintendo's popularity back then, especially Mario. Some guy in Hollywood got the rights for it and made this absolute abomination of a movie. Now, the first one...
Hey, don't be belittling Super Mario Bros. Movie. This is absolutely phenomenal. This is peak cinema. It's just so terrible that it is great. That it is absolutely great. The comedy, like, you go into it, they have Mario and Luigi as their names, but they're not Mario and Luigi, but they are. It's so freaking ridiculous. I love it.
You'll notice here is, this looks nothing like the games. You can't even tell which character is which, except Mario and Luigi, of course. But this is Daisy, this is Toad, yeah, they call him that. This is Iggy, Spike, this is Bowser, but they call him Koopa. And yeah, Yoshi.
I have a question for God. Why?
The only mainline Mario games at that time were Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, 3, and World. They look like this. They didn't have a lot of material to work with to make a feature-length film, so they took some creative liberties, if you will. First of all, Mario didn't have the iconic
Mamma mia!
voice at that time, so they gave him a New York, New Jersey, Italian-American accent, so Mario sounds like a Sopranos character. I gotta love that. And for the story, they cooked up some crazy shit. You know the meteor that killed all the dinosaurs? It didn't kill them in this universe. It created like a parallel dimension, and all the dinosaurs got teleported there. And eventually, they all evolved into like this humanoid race. They're like lizard people. They look human, but they lay eggs. And this whole dimension is ruled by Bowser here. He wants to merge both of these dimensions together and rule over it, or something like that.
Me and him had the same idea. Foreshadowing, epic foreshadowing. Oh my gosh. A hateful group who wants to conquer the world destroys the Twin Towers. Gee.
You know, Quasimodo predicted all this.
And to do that, he needs this MacGuffin that Daisy has. So he kidnaps her, and Mario Bros. Jump into that dimension to save the princess. Now that's classic. Even though it's a dog shit adaptation, it has a lot of entertainment value. It's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, ironically.
It's hilarious.
But as you guys know, it was an absolute disaster. It was
it's such a piece of trash, but the thing is, like, again, you have to know what you're watching in order to enjoy something. Like, I hate it when people talk something up and then I watch it and realize that if I went into this knowing this was a terrible film, I would have probably enjoyed it. Like, Super Mario Bros. Is an absolutely piece of crap, but it is so bad, and you watch it knowing it's bad, it's entertaining. It's so entertaining. Like, still, one of the best elevator scenes ever was in that film. The Dancing Goombas.
bad that Nintendo didn't make a new Mario movie until 3 decades later.
It's a me, a Mario.
Ugh.
Unlike last time, they actually got it right this time. Animation is always the way to go when you're adapting something like
I still haven't seen the movies. I still haven't seen these movies. I don't want to spoil my Super Mario Bros. I still haven't seen these movies.
this. This is probably one of the most faithful video game adaptations
They
out
were
there.
high
It was
as
done straight out
F
the
while
game's
shooting
hand.
the
But
movie,
is it a good
probably.
movie? I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. The cast reveal was funnier than the actual movie.
He's so cool.
I mean, it looks pretty good, everything's very accurate and all, but it doesn't have the sauce, or one could say it's a little too faithful to the games. Because just like the games, the story is non-existent here. It's all just one random thing from the games after another, full of references, cameos and whatnot, and it's all loosely tied together by the plot. I think everything that needs to be said about this movie has been said. I don't want to go into too much detail, but it's an okay movie. If you're a diehard Nintendo or Mario fan, you'll probably love it. I just think that this could have been something better, but what are you gonna do? Fellas, I need to confess something. I don't play Minecraft. I never played Minecraft. It's just not my thing. I think I did play Pocket Edition once. I remember watching some PewDiePie videos.
I tried this game. And what's funny is, like, for someone of my tendencies, this is supposed to be therapeutic. No. Building Legos, playing with trains, that's my cup of tea. Like, I used to spend hours and hours and hours playing Roller Coaster Tycoon. I still play Roller Coaster Tycoon. Like, I remember being on call with my wife, and I'd be playing Roller Coaster Tycoon on my tablet while talking with her. Of course, she knew I was playing, so I wasn't doing anything wrong there. But I was playing Roller Coaster Tycoon, and it's just like, because it's just one of those things that well, it's not a train, it's a roller coaster. But I've always had that, like, fascination with trains. I've always had a fascination with trains. Speaking of which, honey, I still need to buy the Hogwarts Express to go around the Christmas tree. I need to buy that.
You know, the Minecraft series. I know some of the memes, and I know that most Minecraft YouTubers have like some crazy allegations, but that's about it. That's the extent of my Minecraft knowledge. I couldn't care less about the Minecraft movie. I mean, a Minecraft movie.
Nope.
But while I was doing research for this video, I came across it, I read the plot, and I was like, wait a minute, this is an isekai. So here we are, a Minecraft movie. Okay, by this point, we all know it sucks ass, right? Everyone had their fun.
Thank you. I never knew about the end result of the film, because this film got popular because of TikTok. It is one of the worst films ever made. Last year? Was it last year? Yeah, last year. One of the worst films ever made, but it got so popular only because of TikTok. TikTok is such a mind-rotting platform that this was able to get popular. This piece of crap was able to get popular just because of one stupid, absolutely retarded platform pushing this piece of crap, when there were so many better movies that came out last year that didn't get any kind of recognition because this piece of crap became popular. And the good thing is like, sure, theaters need money because too many theaters are closing down. Like, one of the theaters near me is basically being bulldozed down because it closed its doors. Well, it literally shut its doors like a year or two after COVID because it couldn't sustain remaining open anymore. But this is the thing. We need people going to see good films, not pieces of crap like this. Not this.
On dunking on it like a year ago. I'm beating a dead horse here, but I'll try to give my 2 cents on it as a guy who doesn't play Minecraft.
Like, it's funny because I got so much hate for hating on this film, especially from, like, my, of course, nephews who spend so much time on, you know, their phone that they were like, it's a great movie. Tell me one good thing about it. Chicken Jockey, tell me one good thing about it. What's the story about? Zombie, whatever it was. Zombie something. Like tell me something about the story that you remember. It's kind of like talking with my nephews about a Minecraft movie was like talking with retards about Encanto. I think it was called Encanto, the Disney movie. It was like, tell me something about that movie. We don't talk about Bruno, no. Tell me something else about that movie. Tell me something else about that movie. Nobody can. Nobody can, because nobody remembers a gosh dang thing about that movie. Tell me something about Coco. See, most people can remember more about Coco because it's a good movie than they can about freaking Encanto, which was a piece of crap, an absolute piece of crap. I hate how these pieces of crap get so much recognition. It makes it. Sorry. going off on a tangent here. I'm going off on. I hated this movie. I hated this movie with a passion. Not to mention, I hate Jack Black too. I've never really enjoyed anything he's ever done, except for I guess crap. What was it? Tropic Thunder? Yeah, Tropic Thunder.
It feels like no one involved in making this movie really gave a shit. First of all, this movie looks ugly as What the hell? $150 million budget? Where did all that go? And I was disappointed to learn that this movie is directed by the same guy who made Napoleon Dynamite and the cinematic masterpiece that is Nacho Libre. And they got famous YouTuber Jablinski Games to play Minecraft Steve in this. An interesting choice. He looks nothing like Steve. He looks more like a dwarf from Deep Rock Galactic, which is another game where you also mine. And as for the other characters, didn't care. Didn't give a shit, except maybe Jason Momoa's character. He's like some Billy Mitchell, washed up 80s arcade gamer or something like that. He's kind of funny, but all the other characters are boring, man. And as for the plot, I was gonna give like a quick rundown on it for all the people who didn't watch the movie, but that's just too much effort, man. I'll just let one of their genius ads that they used for marketing explain it for you.
Am I the asshole for opening a portal to a highly volatile cubic dimension? Hear me out. I was just a boring normal guy with a boring normal life, and an unrelenting yearning for the mines. One day, I snuck into the mines and found a cube-shaped orb. The orb opened the portal to a cubic dimension, full of creativity and bad builds, and my best friend, a wolf dog named Dennis. It's not my fault if anyone else happens to stumble on the portal and get sucked in.
Cinema right there. I'll give this movie one thing though. Throughout the entire runtime, I wasn't bored, not even for a single minute. And it's not because it's entertaining or anything like that, not even ironically, but the stuff that happens and the shit that they say, I mean the dialogue is so ridiculous. Yep. I can't believe this is a real movie.
Crap! Show this.
I'm really sorry, but I have to unalive you and...
Like, I've never felt the urge of what's a polite way of saying this? Well, let's just say during the airing, like they no longer do midnight showings in the United States anymore because of what happened during the premiere of like The Dark Knight. Let's just say I've never wanted so much in my life. You know, I'm not going to say it, but I was so pissed off, especially at the retardation. I did not want any of the people in there to further that were enjoying the film, you know, to further the gene pool. That's all I'm going to say. I was so enraged. I was just like, this is out of everything that goes on in the world, that it was like the moment for me where it's like, yeah, we're doomed. We're doomed as a society. We're doomed. Idiocracy was completely correct. And I always joke about Idiocracy. It's like 100% correct. Like it was the Minecraft movie, which really sold it to me. Experiencing people's enjoyment for that film was what really did it for me. And the thing is they weren't even enjoying it ironically. They were literally thinking that they were enjoying it because they were told to by TikTok. They were literally told to by TikTok.
But somehow this masterpiece ended up making almost $1 billion at the box office. It's the second highest grossing video game movie of all time, all thanks to the crazy marketing that they had with the memes and everything. From Gen Alpha kids to Gen Z dudes, everyone went crazy for this shit. They made every single movie theater look like an average Indian movie theater. It was a massive success, to say the least, and now they're threatening to make a sequel. For all the Hollywood studios out there, if you guys want to make more money, I got $1 trillion idea. Just imagine this. Fortnite, starring Chris Pratt. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll just leave it at that. And for the final movie of this video, I get to talk about my new artistic interest,
Monster Hunters.
I got really into Monster Hunter recently. I've been kind of obsessed with it. I can't remember the last time I had this much just pure joy playing a video game. Like, this is me.
Yeah, like that one, you have to go hunting. You have to actually, like, if you need to upgrade a weapon, you need to cut off the particular part of the body that you want. Sequel? Yeah, of course they're getting a sequel. They made a ton of money. Even though most likely, well, I don't know, will the sequel even do good or will it do amazingly? I have no clue.
When I play Mon Hunt.
Like, for me, it'll probably be like the way I treat Avatar. Avatar was such a terrible experience for me. And this was even before I was analytically critiquing films because I was still kind of a kid at that time. So I just remember walking out, and same thing with like The Force Awakens, walking out being like, I didn't enjoy it. Of course, the Minecraft movie, I was watching it analytically and being like, this is a piece of crap. This is a piece of crap. And I never went back to watch another one with the Avatar films because I just viewed the entire thing as absolutely retarded. I don't like enjoying that kind of stuff. I really don't.
Games hit all the right notes for me. The combat is so satisfying and has so much depth. The gameplay loop is too addicting. And the monsters. Man, the monsters. This is a masterclass in creature design. The amount of detail that goes into every single one of these monsters is insane. And I just love how whimsical and goofy these games are, despite hunting monsters and all that. There's just nothing like it, man. I love these games so much. But why am I even bringing this up? Well, they made a live-action movie adaptation back in 2020. And that movie is definitely a movie. It's made by the same guy who made those goofy-ass Resident Evil movies. Even has the same lady in it. This man took Monster
It's his wife. Of course he put his wife in it.
Hunter, stripped all of its charm, and turned it into a generic
Raw 1. I definitely will rewatch Raw 1 over a Minecraft movie. 100%. 100%.
Hollywood monster survival movie with a parallel dimension gimmick. Basically, he turned Monster Hunter into Kong Skull Island. Instead of following a hunter or someone from the Monster Hunter world, you follow a squad of US military. US military in my Monster Hunter movie? Get the fuck out. They get easy cut to the Monster Hunter world, and the majority of the film is just them trying to survive, but getting killed by the monsters one after another, leaving only the Resident Evil lady. She meets some people from there. They explain that there's something out there that's creating portals between these two worlds, and that they want to stop it. She decides to join them to help and get back home, but it doesn't go as planned. Our Rathalos comes to our world. This guy's like the Pikachu of Monhunt. He plays with the military for a little bit. That's actually hilarious. But the hunter comes in and kills it. That's pretty underwhelming. But just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. A wild Gormagala appears. Love this monster, by the way. The party pulls out their weapons. They jump on it. Movie ends. What? I guess that's the setup for the sequel, but thank God that never happened, because this shit sucks. As an adaptation, it's an atrocity, but even if you judge it as its own thing, it still sucks. At least with the old Mario movie and Minecraft movie, you can laugh at how bad they are and have fun that way, but there's nothing fun about this movie, man. It is so generic and painfully mediocre. Call me crazy, but I think a Monster Hunter isekai could kinda work if it's done right, and only if it's an anime and not a live-action Hollywood movie. Because the world of these games is really fascinating. It's not a typical fantasy world with a lot of magical elements.
Yeah, it has to be done in a playful manner, and it's hard to do live action in a playful manner, especially in like a fantasy-esque type of world.
Very low fantasy. The only things that look supernatural here are the monsters, but they're not like some straight-up magical creatures. There's a lot of made-up biology behind these things. There's an explanation for everything. Imaginative realism, as they call it. So you can just come in here and become magically overpowered, which is like one of the common isekai tropes, right? So, you know, I can kind of see that working in concept, but this is not the way you go about it. This might not be a huge issue for a lot of people, but I find it really disappointing. There is no game soundtrack used in this movie, like not even a single motif, melody, none of that. Instead, they replaced it with some generic electronic synth-sounding music, which doesn't even fit, by the way. That's a shame, because the games have like some of the best music in all of gaming. You gotta take a listen.
I love the epic soundtracks. I really do. There's something about them that's just so fascinating. Monster Hunter live action could work. It will need $1 billion budget though. I don't think it'll need $1 billion budget. It'll just actually need people dedicated to making it, well, faithfully. Like, that's the thing. It's like a lot of this stuff absolutely has the potential of success. The problem is too many companies, too much red tape, too much of the producer, the department, the one that holds the money, trying to get out whatever they can as quickly as they can. What you need, like, look at who watched The Witcher season 1. Then who continued on when everyone started hearing that Henry Cavill was having trouble, you know, on set. You know, the quintessential nerd on set was having trouble making sure people were embodying the characters correctly. Who continued? Like, most people had clocked out. Most people had clocked out because most people just want to see something faithfully rendered. As long as it's done with heart, as long as it's done with like good intent, most people will give it a pass. It's when things are done just to grab a quick buck, that's where people will start drawing the line. That's where people will start drawing the line. And it's like, you can make it good on a low budget. You'll just have to really bring it down. Maybe the entire film will be based off of hunting one monster. You can do that. You can easily do that. Because there's plenty of things in the world of Monster Hunter that can get in the way. Little creatures that you need to fight off. Or it could just be the hunt. It could be like a horror movie in the beginning, trying to avoid all the other critters until you find the epic beast that you're trying to hunt. That way you don't lose any of your bow arrows. You don't lose any of your munitions. You don't lose any. So that way you have it all for the assault. Like they could easily do that. Easily do it. Build it like suspensefully like Alien. And then at the very end, it becomes Aliens, where you're fighting the monster. Like you can do it on a good budget. Just go in the jungles somewhere, start recording the shots. You have a small crew, maybe a team of like 10 people for the lighting, directing, cinematography, like the back end, the electrical, everything like that. And then you have like just 2 actors, 3 actors. And then you have the editors on the back end. Like you can do it very small, very simplistic, but it has to be done faithfully. It has to be done faithfully.
For the little montage thing in the intro. And Monster Hunter has one of, if not the greatest theme song for a game series. Well, those are all the movies. Crazy lineup, I know. Went from Wizard of Oz to Minecraft and Monster Hunter. I might have missed a movie or two, let me know. And also, there are a lot of movies that people mistake for isekai, but they don't really fit the criteria. For example, some of my followers on Insta suggested Ready Player One, but that's a VR thing, not really an isekai.
A Tron would have been better, even though it's not really into another world. It's into the world of technology.
So I can't really include it here. And a lot of people on the internet think that Army of Darkness is an isekai. Let me educate you, it is not. Ash just goes back in time to the Middle Ages, but it's still the same world. There is no isekai here. Still, it's a fun movie. But yeah, Portal Fantasy. After watching all of these, my takeaway is that it couldn't be more different than Japanese isekai, even though they share the same basic concept. It's surprisingly not that escapist. All of these stories use this parallel dimension to make these characters go through an arc. In the end, it helps them face their own reality, which is pretty cool. Also, you gotta love the variety here. Every single story and setting feels so different. We need more of that in Japanese isekai. But of course, not everything here is flawless. The classics are great, but most of the modern stuff is kinda
It's funny how he has the remake of the Chronicles of Narnia as a classic when there was one done like 15 years, 20 years prior, which is the real classic. But it's the only one he knows of, so that's the one he focuses on.
Especially the video game adaptations. It just feels like they just use this isekai gimmick to make these movies more appealing to casual
audience. We've been on
who are
this
not
video
really
for a
into the
while.
Games, so they make us follow characters who are also new to these game settings. Overall, I don't think I can say it's better, but it is different. And that's it for the video. I hope you guys liked it. Now for my final trick, I'll make you for...
Yeah, I like this. I like this. I had to put a like on the video. Again, I do enjoy like the isekai genre. No, even if it's Portal Fantasy, I still see it as isekai. I always see it as isekai. That's just the genre that's in my head. That's just the genre that's in my head. It's always been there because, again, I'm a huge fan of anime, and I enjoy it. I absolutely enjoy it, and it just needs to be done correctly. It needs to be done tastefully, and they need to remove all the one man, 100 women tropes. That gets so annoying. It gets so freaking annoying. I find it so, like, why can't we just have a good, decent story? It's always upsetting when they start throwing that in there. Like, again, what is it? The Life of a Soldier? I enjoy it, even though he has well, I guess 3. But he only has one person he's committed to. But yeah, he's just in another world. I really enjoy that book series. I think it's on, is it book 7 coming out? No, I think it's coming out next year. But on the Patreon, apparently it's all the way up to book 11. All the way up to book 11. But I really enjoy that series. But again, I hate the nonsense when they throw in, and when you're watching like a Western fan trying to do like an isekai, because they always do the harem trope. Always. And it's incredibly disgusting every single time. Every single time.
You guys got a video? Why so bad?
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait, like that.